Okay, so something a bit different from me. I don't usually post. I don't usually post me painting, but I thought I would today. It's not going to be painting with Nancy. It's going to be painting painting with Jim. And I've obviously already done quite a lot of work on these. These they are done on a background print. So there was an already existing print to give me some colours and break up the picture surface. And usually I'll do that myself with a bit of background colour. But it sometimes saves doing that if you work across some old print, which I am. So and they've got some texture and some interest in them. I'm just going to apply a couple of colours today. I'm working on 3 at the same time. I do that from time to time. It's not something I always do, so it just so happens that I fancy doing that today and yesterday. And we're going to see what these come up with. Now, these also have got. There is something interesting, I suppose, about these in that I'm going to use. The prints came with a border, so the border's going to be part of the finished look. So the edge of this is going to be missing. The edge of all of these is going to be missing, which might affect how I paint. So I'm not really worried about the last ½ inch or so. Yeah, and let's see. I'm using the same colours in all 3 pictures. And that's just because of the process. It just becomes a bit easier. And I'm using my standard paint, which is household gloss. The print obviously wasn't paint, it's just print. So gloss going on quite nicely over the top. And let's see what happens. Now, obviously abstract painting can be different, or people think it's different from regular painting. There's no object. But I think you still approach it in the same way. You're still looking for shapes and still looking for places to put the paint or places to not put the paint. And also what colour you fancy pinning down. So I wanted to go, usually I go roughly light to dark. So the last colour I usually put down will be black. It's pretty much my standard trademark approach, the Jim Best trademark approach. And the other thing you'll notice is that I work with sticks mostly. I may do a bit of brushing on the end of this, but it sticks for now. And I'll probably shut up while I paint, because otherwise I won't be thinking. So there you go, that's my process. Let's have a go. I might be cutting in and out with this film as we go on, and we see how things come out. I think with most of my process is quite a lot of looking and thinking and trying to see which way up at this point. I haven't decided a way up on any of these pictures yet. That's probably one of the reasons I work on the floor. That and it gives me a little bit more space, but so if you've seen any of my painting, you'll probably realise there's a sort of a kind of mixture of control and of lack of control. And when you're using sticks, I think there's less control. And I like the effect. It's just some sort of a thing that I'm happy to work with. They're lolly sticks, these. It doesn't really matter. But I'm getting a consistent sort of mark from them. And I'm careful of that. I think when it builds up, I don't want consistency always. So I'm aware that might happen at the minute with some of these, but there's a lot of having a look and a lot of thinking. I'm not talking too much because I'm sort of thinking that I want it to be an honest approach, an honest kind of what actually happens with me, and I don't talk to myself while I paint, so I don't want to distract myself and then to sort of do a performance for you. Also, I wanted to actually do something that might actually be a genuine insight. But I'm already thinking, oh, maybe I'm not, because talking and thinking don't always go together, as President Trump shows. Something you might notice, I don't really mix my paints. I let that happen. Sometimes it happens if the paint's still wet, so one colour on top of another will sometimes do stuff. But basically, I'm a contender for someone who draws with paint, I suppose, rather than paints with paint, which is an interesting sort of dilemma sometimes when you look at art, from the past, and you think, oh, were they a drawer or a painter? And there is a difference. It's odd. The great, I suppose. I was going with that. Maybe some of the great colourists that you see are moving their colours around. They're not kind of letting them sit and just be what they are. So someone like the obvious ones are the Impressionists, I suppose. But a Constable, or Turner obviously is someone who I think is a colour specialist, if you like, and a user of colour. Whereas I think I use colour in a different way, maybe more of a Matisse kind of separation of colours. That said, they can still form. There's still stuff that goes on. For instance, in that bottom corner, there's the colours kind of drifting into each other. Just a bit. That's about as kind of blended as I go. Anyway. Right, we're back on. So I've had a little think about this. That one seems to be the one that's come on the most. This one seems to be the one that's kind of drifting about. have a quick look at it there. Let's get that out of the way. I think we're just going to zap in with some more colour. They're all looking a little bit similar, of course, at the moment, and they probably will end up looking fairly similar, so that they could be a little sort of set, but I'll probably try and get them to have different sort of qualities, hopefully, before we finish. Okay, let's just sit on that one for a bit and see how that goes. The nice thing about working on several paintings at the same time is that you can just leave it well alone for a bit and kind of come back and not be kind of dictated by the one thing, and you get your head out of it and look at it again with fresh eyes a bit later. This is looking a bit more open. I don't want to close it down too much, so I think I'm going to go a little bit more sparing with this colour on this one. Okay. After having a look at this painting for a little while, I just decided no, it's not right. It's not going anywhere like this, so we're going to push it back a bit and get rid of some stuff with a bit of white. What sort of off-white? Okay, so that's quite drastic. I'll have a think about that again and give that a bit of a dry. I've just left a kind of couple of little areas. I'm not sure why, but we'll see if that kind of makes any sense a bit later. drying mix kind of thing. It'll stay separate colours, but it'll probably seep into the white a wee bit, and you get a sort of pixelated almost effect. So obviously we've got a happy accident there, or well, it might depends how we view a happy accident. Might think it's rubbish, but I think it's okay. I think it's okay. another stop point. Let's see how we feel about that. But I think that was quite nice. Bit of black sort of brings them together, gives you a bit of depth and stuff. And we'll see how I view them in a bit. I'll let them dry. So yeah, okay. And here we are with the frame on, which is that border that I was talking about right at the beginning, if you remember that bit.